Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Abe's Analysis and Insight. For this afternoon conversation, we'll explore the cost involved in building an oil refinery in our country. We are a nation of an immense or stunning beauty with a lot of natural resources and wealth. We are talking about massive reserves of oil and gas locked right under our feet. But the crazy part is, despite all this fuel, we are still constantly facing fuel shortages. Our electricity is expensive. Our businesses are held back most times, and we end up importing refined fuel from countries thousands of miles away. It doesn't make sense, right? The solution seems simple: just build our own refinery. Let's refine our own oil into petrol, diesel, and jet fuel, and stop relying on imports. That in itself will create job and an economic boom in our country. But is that easy? Today, we are asking the real question: what's the cost that it will take to build an oil refinery here? Are we talking millions or billions? And could expanding a plant like Kutubu actually be the smarter move? Let's dive into the numbers for building an oil refinery in Papua New Guinea. This is $1 billion fuel question. Okay, number one, the option is the Greenfield project. This means building a brand new world class oil refinery from absolutely nothing. You can start with just land and turn it into a high tech facility, but how much would it cost? A full scale refinery that can produce high quality fuel that meets global standard and supply most of PNG's domestic need is easily in the range of 1.5 to 3 billion US dollar. Now, to give some context into just how much expensive this infrastructure is, let's not look further than the fuel storage facility that was built just a couple of years ago near Port Moresby that cost over 498 million or 2 billion US dollar, 2 billion kina rather. And that was just for storage. Refining will be exponentially more complex. But we don't have to build a massive refinery like they have in the Middle East or the US. What about a modular refinery that we can assemble on site? A smaller plant that produces, say, around 10,000 to 20,000 barrels per day. That's much cheaper, coming in around US 300 to 600 million dollars. It might not solve all our fuel problems, but it could make a huge dent and is much more manageable. The second option is the expansion. So why do we need to build something completely new when we already have the infrastructure? For years, there was talks of Puma Energy expanding its Napa Napa refinery. A major capacity upgrade there might cost between 250 to 350 USD. In today's number, it's still huge, but a fraction of the cost of starting over because they already have the pipes, jetties, and the foundation to build on. And then there's a new development in recent months. The government hasn't just been talking about building, but about buying. They've discussed acquiring or increasing their stake in the existing Napa Napa refinery from Puma Energy for somewhere between 1 billion to 1.5 billion. This might be the most cost effective way to get control over refining. It wouldn't necessarily add new capacity right away, but it it would give us sovereignty over our fuel production. So the cost isn't always just construction; it can be acquisition. So why are these costs so high? In PNG, we pay what you might call the PNG premium on any big projects. So first, logistic is a nightmare. Getting massive heavy refinery equipment through the mountains to a remote place like the Kutubu fields at 20 to 30% directly onto the project cost. Second is the skilled labor. So we often don't have enough local specialists for this level of engineering. So we have to fly in expensive international expert. Third is the land and security. Navigating landowner agreements and keeping a multi-billion dollar site secure are critical, and they have, have come with a hefty price tag. The fourth being the environmental standards. So to sell fuel and meet modern standards, one would need expensive emission control hardware, and all of this makes cheap refinery in PNG much more difficult to achieve. So where does that leave us? If we would like to build from scratch, that will be a massive multi-billion dollar bet. If we want to expand the existing facility, that could be far cheaper and likely a quicker solution. And the potential government buyout of Napa Napa is now firmly on the cards as the more realistic option or approach. Whatever the path, the cost is always going to be immense. It's a huge decision for the future of our nation, and the question we need to answer is the high cost of this $1 billion bet worth the potential reward of true energy independence or sovereignty? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment below with your take on PNG's energy future. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the issues facing our nation, and see you next time.